Hi, friends. Welcome in. I'm here with all of my enthusiasm to share with you some useful tools and practices for nervous system regulation or reset, um, which might be particularly helpful or useful during the holiday season, although you can certainly go to these practices at any point in time. Um, I've kept the offerings very simple and accessible because I know particularly holidays can be very busy, very hectic. There's a lot of people around. Maybe there's a lot of cooking. They can also be times that might be quite sad or um, involve maybe some anxiety for a lot of people. So it's important to remember that we have the tools that we can access in the first place, and also to choose tools that are that you're actually going to follow through with. So I made sure to choose some things that are very simple and accessible. So, in order to actually try the things out as we move through these practices together, you might want something comfortable to sit your bum up onto. I've got my meditation cushion here. If your hips can be a little bit higher than your knees, you might be able to be comfy a little longer, or you can sit at a chair or even on the couch, find something that's comfortable. Um, if you'd like, you can play some really calm, soothing background music that can be very supportive for all of these practices. And then the last thing is that if you've got at home um, an oil that you're familiar with, that you already perhaps are using on your body for your dosha, for those that work with Ayurveda, or that you feel comfortable with, like a good, clean, pure maybe hopefully organic oil. You'll need that so long as it's not something like mustard or a spicy oil. I recommend having a little bit of good quality sesame or coconut oil. You'll need very little. So for anyone watching this recording, you might pause and find that one item and come on back in when you're all prepared. So, in this session, as I mentioned, you're going to learn a few powerful tools to reset and regulate your nervous system. They'll be simple, effective, and ones that you can actually do or that you can accomplish anywhere. So, even in a really crowded house, um, everyone can find a little quiet space for even 2 minutes, even better, 5 minutes. 10 minutes, wow, you're doing well. So, first, I want to explain for anyone that this terminology might be new for what that even means. What is nervous system regulation? So that you're aware of the objective of what we're doing. So, our nervous system regulation, you can think of it as like having a remote control for your body and your emotions. And your nervous system helps you feel calm and grounded when you're safe, ideally, when it's functioning optimally. And it also helps you feel alert and ready when you are in danger. The thing is that oftentimes we're feeling alert and ready to go when we're not in danger, but we're maybe just in high stress situations. So we want to learn how to work with the remote control for our own mind and emotions in order to soothe the nervous system to come back to that place of calm and equanimity. So sometimes the nervous system, sticking with this remote control analogy, can get stuck in fast forward. This is like our stress mode, and everything seems like it's moving fast and it's a huge deal and the world is coming to an end, right? So we can get stuck in fast forward. We can get stuck in the pause mode. So this is like maybe our freeze response. We can start to shut down. We can disassociate. We can sort of just kind of like renounce our participation. Um, we can also get stuck in rewind. So we can get in this place of ruminating and going over things that have already happened and over which we no longer have control. So learning tools and ways that we can relax, things that are simple, like a conscious form of breathing, really gentle movement, imagining our happy places can really help our nervous system come back to balance and find and like also learn how to develop this as a skill that we can soothe ourselves. We can self-regulate, right? We can regulate. It's like hitting the reset button. Um, so that you can feel steady and in control again, or anyone else that was a child of the 80s. It's like when you had to unplug everything and like blow in the video game cartridge for your nervous system, just a full reset coming back. Um, so yoga we'll be using tools today that are from the schools of philosophy of yoga and Ayurveda, of course, because this is what I work with and this is what I know. So this is what I love to share. Um, Yoga in particular focuses on what is called prana. It's one of the vayus or the sub-doshas of vata. So it's a movement, right? It's associated with air or wind. Um, and it's our life force. So yoga's approach to moments of stress, anxiety, depression, just ickiness in the nervous system is like, okay, let's get the prana unstuck. Let's get it moving, and also like let's get it grounded. Let's get it back in our body. And then Ayurveda is addressing nervous system imbalances from the link to Vata dosha, which I already brought up. So if you're a total newbie to Ayurveda, you can consider it. Vata is like the elements of air and ether in our system. So because it's got that air element in there, it's the only dosha that has movement. So what that means is that when stuff is kind of rattled up and feeling a little frenetic and a little crazy and a little then you can guarantee that the air element is involved, and that's your Vata dosha. So Ayurveda says, let's look at Vata, let's soothe it, let's come back to earth. We're going to need some earth element, some heaviness in there to settle back into our bones, get back into our, feeling of balance, of equanimity. So I'd like for you each to take a brief moment before we dive into the practices and just consider a word. You could think of it as like a sankalpa or an intention um, that you would like to cultivate. So this can be like your anchor. So when you're moving through stressful times and you think to yourself, wow, I'd really like to have some more spaciousness. I'd really like to have some more grounding. I'd really like to be experiencing more peace, just to give a few sample or example words. Um, Let that be the um, kind of ping, ping, ping alarm that goes off and says, oh, right. I remember when I'm feeling called to create that experience in my system, I have these tools. So take a quick pause before we begin and think about a word, a feeling that you would like to cultivate. Try to find something specific. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're not sharing it. It's just for you. Take another breath or two to consider. Okay. So we'll check back in with that intention at the end and see how we're doing. All right. So the first practice that I want to share, and there's kind of sort of two practices built into this, is marma point activation. So a marma point you can think of as like a little power button on your body. And these points are spots where energy, muscles, nerves all connect in a way that creates you can think of it as like a strong energetic pool. And when we gently press or massage the marma points, it can really help our energy and our prana to flow a lot better. So think of it like helping to unblock a stuck hose. Like you might have to kind of push on the part that's stuck. You might have to kind of wiggle it around a little bit, um, so that there's fresh flow back through the hose once again. Um, it might help make you feel a little more relaxed, depending on the point, things like a little bit less achiness. They're very points that are supposed to support our healing. So points are from Ayurvedic therapy or lineage specifically. Um, but you could think of them as like Indian medicine or Ayurvedic medicine's answer to acupuncture points. So it's not the same as Chinese medicine, but it's a similar concept. So different powerful points along our body. Um, so basically, this is just a very ancient way to help um, take care of ourselves. Of course, you can go out if you're fortunate enough to live in an area where this is offered, and you could get a marma therapy session where someone would actually work on your body. But I'm going to teach you 2 points that are super simple, super easy. You can do them at home, and it just takes like a minute of your time, and probably no one would even know that you're doing it. So when you catch yourself like, wow, I need a moment, I just need a moment here, um, both of these can work quite well. So let me see, I'm going to actually do a screen share here because I want you to be able to see. Okay, I'm back and I've got it sorted out now. So hopefully you can see the screen. I just want to introduce these 2 Marma points to you, and then we are going to practice. So we have the Shipra Marma, which is in the category of a Prana Marma. So it's influencing the flow of life energy. That's the prana that we talked about in the body. Um, it's considered a half angula, which that just means that it's about uh, the width of half a thumb. And it supports the movement of energy through the hands and can influence the respiratory system and circulation. So the hands are really tied to, in both Chinese medicine and Ayurvedic medicine, to the heart and to the lungs. And it's known for its quick effects in restoring energy flows and used in both Ayurveda and acupressure traditions. So you can see that it is right between the webbing of the index finger and the thumb. And there is also um, a Pada Shipra Marma point, which means it's on the foot. So this would be the Asta one on the hand, and there's also one on your foot between the big toe and the second toe, right between the webbing there. So I'll go ahead and show you the second point before we do a little bit of a practice. So the second point is Stapani Marma. And this is considered one of the most important Shiro marmas. Shiro is head, the head points. And it's a Jiva marma, which means it's also influencing our vital energy. It is also a half angula, so the width of about a half a thumb. And this one is for balancing the mind, enhancing focus, and promoting calmness. So this is a really good one, I think, for like general, wow, I need to soothe and calm and just take it down a few notches. The other one in particular is very good if in those moments of feeling a little triggered or that are high energy, particularly if there's like heart stuff going on, like palpitations, racing heart, constriction in the heart, lungs, chest. Um, so stimulating this point can help reduce stress, ease headaches, improve sleep, and support mental clarity, which is exactly what we want in high stress times, to come back to this. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of this share. So they're pretty easy to find. Pretty easy to find. And we will do a very, very brief practice of just holding each of the points. So you can first find the Shipra Marma on your right or left hand. It's on both. And between the thumb and index finger webbing, just hold there with a decent amount of pressure. It could feel a little bit edgy or sharp, possibly. You don't have to like squeeze, with all your might. You could add in a little bit of gentle circular movement. If you like this marma practice, you could maybe even eventually add in a little bit of oil as you work with the points. So settle in as you're applying some gentle pressure to that marma. Perhaps if it's safe for you, you can close your eyes. And then if you'd like, you can swap to the second side since this one has two. I would normally recommend doing this a little bit longer, but we're squeezing a lot of tools in just 30 minutes. So we're going to do a brief one. It's really just for you to be able to access the tool later on as needed. Take a few more breaths. And then you can release that. And then we'll bring some pressure now to Stapani Marma, which is just between the brows. And you can use whatever finger feels most comfortable for you. I'm making a little bit of a circular movement with, more than a feather light touch, but also not digging in hard or with force. For anyone that has a personal mudra practice, you might choose a particular finger depending on how you're feeling on any given day. Connect with that element or planet specifically. Take another few breaths, perhaps with your eyes closed. And then you can very gently release that point. Okay, I know I'm already feeling like, whew, much more settled with just like less than 2 minutes of really just finding where those points are on the body. So, very short and sweet one you can go to at any time. The next one is likely familiar for a lot of you, particularly if anyone's a yoga practitioner, and I will guide you through Nadi Shodhana, which is the alternate nostril breath. And this is a relatively simple pranayama technique. It takes a little, there's a mudra involved and there's a little bit of switching between nostrils, but once you get the hang of it, it's quite simple. And it's for balancing both sides of the nervous system. So both sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems, or yin and yang, or when we're looking at the nadis and in kind of yoga subtle anatomy would be Ida and Pingala Nadi. So basically our two sides, just kind of bringing them together into a relationship that's a little bit more harmonious. Um, because we don't actually want to, we couldn't survive if we just totally shut the sympathetic nervous system off or shut it down. But we do want to keep it in check and make sure that it's functioning the way that it is intended to, which is for our true safety, not just when we get a little bit um, stressed or uncomfortable, right? So with your right hand, you might want to make Vishnu Mudra with the peace fingers tucked into the base of the thumb. That one hurts my hand quite a bit. Folks who've been practicing with me for a long time have heard me say this a million times. So I like to take the peace fingers to my third eye point. As a double bonus, you're now making contact with this Stapani Marma point. So that's quite nice in the Nadi Shodhana. So the ring finger and the pinky finger will be used to plug the left nostril as guided, and the thumb, the right thumb, will be to block the right nostril. Okay, so there'll be no holds or retentions. When we're thinking to bring the nervous system more to a place of soothing, we want to really stay away from retentions or holds of the breath for a little while. So if you want to move along with me, you're welcome. If you prefer to simply take notes so you can get it down for a later date, then you can also do that. You'll just need a few minutes in a quiet space, even just 3 to 5 rounds of this breath, which is about what we're going to do today, can make a huge difference. And that's it. Just you and your body and your breath. So go ahead and find your mudra and sit in a way that's comfortable. And we'll begin by taking first a breath through both nostrils. Inhale through both nostrils and exhale through both nostrils. And then close your right nostril. I'm going to move my fingers in a really exaggerated way so you can see. Close your right nostrils and inhale through your left. At the peak of your breath, you can close your left nostril and open your right. So you exhale through the right. Your right side's already open. Inhale through the right. At the very tippy top of your breath, that will be where we switch every time. Block the right and open your left. Inhale through your left, that's already open. So after each inhale, it's a block. Move to the other side, exhale through the right. So we're not retaining at center. The breath is always moving. Inhale through your right. Block your right, exhale through your left. Inhale through your left. Block your left, exhale through your right. We'll take one more round. Inhale through your right. Exhale through your left. Inhale through your left. Exhale through your right. And very gently release. That practice always feels like it just so immediately kind of just centers me and grounds me. I love that one. It's so gentle. And very few contraindications with that breath practice. I mean, essentially, other than a deviated septum or some sinus congestion or sinus infection or headache, then it's really pretty safe for everybody. And that is a soothing, a parasympathetic practice. Okay, so that is Nadi Shodhana. The third, which is quite a nice one to do after a pranayam practice, is another practice from Ayurveda called Nasya. So this is what you needed your oil for. If you don't have oil and you just want to watch along and just kind of get the tips for later on, then that's great. I'm going to use I love my Super Nasya oil. This is a blend from Ayurvedic physician Dr. Vasant Lad. It's a medicinal blend. It's really good for soothing, calming. It's got some herbs in there. I usually do this every night before I go to bed, especially because it's kind of dry in New England and I am not used to having no humidity in the air. So this is like saving my life right now. But if you are new to Nasya or the idea of dripping oil, like I use a dropper, as you'll see, a dropper. Um, but if that idea is kind of freaks you out a little bit, you can do like what I consider just kind of beginner's Nasya, which is how I began this practice. And I used to just dip my pinky finger into oil and just rub it on the inside of my nostrils. So you can see if you weren't aware, that's where we're going. This is going up the nose to soothe our nasal passages. So, again, this is an Ayurvedic technique for calming the nervous system. It soothes the nasal passages, which are kind of the gateways to these two major energy pathways I already mentioned, Ida and Pingala. Calms the mind, helps to balance Vata. Any oil you can get into the mix is going to be so good for Vata. Which, of course, we talked about how Vata is kind of like the Ayurvedic link to the nervous system. It just takes a few minutes, like probably less than a few minutes if you're quick and sneaky about it. And it should leave you feeling quite grounded and clear-headed almost immediately. So I'm going to use this Super Nasya blend. It's a blend in sesame oil. Um, Sesame oil, coconut oil are really like the best ones. If there's one that you're working with that you just love for your dosha that works very well for you, then that's great. Yeah, just avoid spicy oils like a mustard seed or of course anything that's got a chili blend in it or anything like that, just a pure oil. So I'm going to show you this and a full disclosure, I've never done Nasya like in front of people or with an audience, so bear with me. And I'm realizing now I forgot to bring tissues over to my little recording area, so hopefully we don't make a big mess. Okay, so here we go. If you're using a dropper, um, before I go to bed at night, because I know I'm going to be lying down, I will usually do like almost a full dropper, like that. I'm not going to do quite that much because I'm going to still cover one more practice and I'll be sitting up. So I'm just going to do a drop or two in each nostril. As well, if you're just beginning, a drop or two will go a really long way. So I'm just going to lean it back, down the hatch. A few drops in the right, a few drops in the left. And then while I'm still leaning back, I'm going to give a quick breath in. And you all just got a really awesome view right up my nose. So sorry about that. That's it. That's it. I know it can feel a little bit weird. It's kind of like oil pulling when you first are like swishing oil around in your mouth. It can be feel really strange. Um, but that's it. Like now when I do it, it's like, oh, immediate, like my sinuses just go like, oh. And it just lubricates everything in your sinuses and down. If you do a little bit more, I did just like one or two drops, since I'm still upright. But with the full dropper before I go to bed, I can feel it going down and really like lubricating my throat, and it's just so nice. Um, so check that out. And if you can, if you have an oil warmer, what a luxury at home. So it warms the oil to a nice but not dangerous temperature. This could also be done with nice warm oil. Warm is also very soothing for Vata. Um, I recommend, if possible, after Nasya, if you can, or if you're working with a little more oil, lie down after, which is going to lead us right into our next and our last nervous system reset tool that I have for you today, which is a guided visualization. And these are available for free on so many channels. Also, a lot of you now, like I have the Calm app. I know some people have Insight meditation timer. There's so many places you can get free guided visualizations or meditations, but also you can just journey within your own heart, within your own mind, to a place that feels calm and grounding. So whether or not you've just done your Nasya, please feel free to lie down now if you would like to. Of course, if you prefer to stay in a seat, you're very welcome. And we're going to go through a very quick and simple guided meditation to come back home to your own heart, to a place of safety and calm. And if it's safe, you can close your eyes. You can imagine roots growing from your system. If you're standing up, growing from the soles of your feet. If you're lying down, you can picture little shoots and roots from your back, from the backside of your body, just kind of gripping you down into the soft safety of the earth, the stability of the earth, not pulling you, not forcing you, just knitting you into the safe, secure, stable earth, anchoring you. You might move this visualization of roots knitting from your body into the earth, from the soles of your feet upward toward the crown of your head. So you might move in a bit of a body scan as you move through your system, each area just lovingly rooting down. Notice the way your natural breath wants to move, like a gentle, organic, natural, safe wave. And with each time it laps gently along the shore, it just carries a little bit of weight away with it. So you can land into this place of softness, rooted, stable, steady, grounded. So if you're feeling deeply relaxed and calm, feel free to stay right where you're at. That was just a few minutes long, so short. So you're welcome to sit up and close the session together with us, or you're welcome to stay lying down. I just have one last question, which is to ask you each to come back to that one word, that one seed or sankalpa that you planted at the very start of the session, that that one kind of loving desire that you wanted to work to cultivate. So calm, grounded, balanced, whatever it may have been, and hold it in your heart. And just remember that these tools are here for you whenever you need a reset, whether it's just a challenging day or you just need a moment to reconnect with yourself for any reason. In only 30 minutes, we went over 4 different tools. They each take less than 5 minutes. You have the tools. Your work is to remember to use them. So I hope you take those forward. Other wonderful at-home tips are to have a nice hot cup of tea, some warm herbal teas, maybe some warm herbal abhyanga, soft or self massage rather, particularly on the soles of the feet or the ears, which are both good spots to balance vata in particular. Um, and I thank you all so much for joining in this 30-minute nervous system reset and regulation. I hope that it will serve you all through the holiday season and beyond. Thank you. Bye bye.